The Art Beat, a weekly program putting you in touch with artists and arts events from the J.T. and Margaret Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts at Texas Tech University. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Art Beat. I'm your host, Peter Martins, here on 105.7 KLZK FM. I'm here today with three members from the Texas Tech University School of Art, and we are talking today about the pre-college Immersion program, which is a summer camp that is hosted by and in the School of Art on the campus of Texas Tech University. And I'm going to ask our three guests here to introduce themselves.
So my name is Dane Webster. I'm a professor in the School of Art. I direct the Digital Narrative Arts program and oversee animation, which we used to call transmedia here.
Hi, I'm Piper Weekly. I'm currently a graduating senior for the Digital Narrative Arts program, and I'll be one of the instructors for the summer camp.
Hi, I'm Alex Morales. I'm also a senior, and I will also be an instructor for the summer camp.
Great. Well, good to see you all here today. And obviously, we know already now that this is a summer camp. A lot of our students in the Visual and Performing Arts College anyway, go off and do festivals and fairs and all sorts of enrichment things over the summer, which actually allows our buildings to breathe a little bit, but also they have space to accommodate these enriching things and maybe pre-college audiences to come to campus and experience some things. And that's what this camp is all about, right?
Yeah, correct. I came here to Texas Tech in 2020 in the midst of COVID, so we took a hiatus from summer camp activities, and after a couple of years, we started to build this back up. And we've seen an increasing number of students every year as we head into this, and with a lot of excitement. Certainly, we want to provide an opportunity for students to just get exposure to the visual arts. At the same time, we'd love for students to find out more about what we have to offer here at Texas Tech. And we've even created a program where we've offered scholarships for students that have done well in the camp, and if they decide to come to Texas Tech at the School of Art, we've put our money where our mouth is and encourage them to come into the program as well.
Okay. Now, Piper and Alex, I know you're instructors this summer. Did you go yourselves as high schoolers to anything like this, or even the Texas Tech version here?
When I was in my junior year of high school, I did go to one at a different college in my hometown of Odessa, Texas. It was for printmaking. But yeah, I have been to one of these before, and I've taught one of these before as well. So, did
that steer you toward a college major in art to some extent, or were you already kind of decided at that point?
I would definitely say it was a pushing factor at the time because back then I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I just recently had a pretty decent interest in art and some relative success in it. So when I went there and sort of felt how it was to be in a college environment while being taught the arts, I kind of fell in love with it and realized this is probably the major that I want to go for. So I would say yes.
Oh, great. Now, both of you have also been involved with this immersion camp in the past in Lubbock here, yes?
I have.
I have not.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. So passing the torch a little bit in terms of the student instructor force.
Yes. So, and we've taught this before in the past, and I've taught the section. We've usually had a student worker, and for various family reasons, my wife is giving birth in May. I am not part of the summer camp this year.
We'll give you a pass this year,
I get a pass. Yeah. And Piper did an amazing job. Last year, we taught like a digital painting.
It was a digital painting course.
And did an amazing job. So when we went recruiting again, I started with Piper, and we were fortunate to have Alex be available for this as well. Both of the students are in the 3D animation class that I'm teaching right now, and so the project related to the camp is divided up into four sections. Subjects, I guess. So we have traditional painting, jewelry design, ceramics, and 3D animation. So the students, they get up in the morning in the dorms, they get a chance to have some breakfast, and then they start their trek across campus to the various buildings and these various classes, which they rotate through throughout the day.
Okay, so all attendees at the camp experience all of these four subject areas to some extent.
Yeah, and having watched this unfold the past few years, it's been really exciting to see the different things that students have been using. And then every year we're conscious of trying to find a different subject, because we do have a lot of repeat campers that come back. They enjoy the experience. They show up in the lobby of that first day with registration, and they remember, they see people that they got to know the previous year, right, from different parts of the state or other states. We've had students from neighboring New Mexico and Colorado and Oklahoma come here. So yeah, it's a really fun experience.
Yeah, that sounds like a common theme that we'll be hearing about on the Art Beat the next few weeks here as we talk about some of the summer camps across the College of Visual and Performing Arts at Texas Tech, that it does really build a culture amongst those students, and then in some cases that carries forward into our own majors as they go through their 4-year program. So I'm interested in your instructors here. I guess, Piper, you're finishing your degree this year, right? And Alex, you've got...
I got one more semester.
One more. Okay. One more semester. Okay. So it wasn't so long ago that you were in a position, as these campers are coming to campus, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about when you meet them the first time? I know you have all these instructional duties, and that's what Professor Webster is like, kind of, riding herd over you to make sure you get done. But there's, right, obviously a very the social component, right, and building that culture. Anything that you think of or that you recall from your past experiences that you think is really important to giving students who are maybe visiting campus for the first time that feeling of welcome and really feeling the camaraderie of the camp?
Yeah. I mean, it was probably about 3 to 4 years ago that I was at that summer camp, and I vividly remember the importance of the instructors specifically going to every student, talking with them, and getting to understand their interests in art and what they wanted to do in the summer camp and afterwards, art related. And I think really connecting with the students as they connected with me back then is super important. Not only to encourage them to pursue the path that they want in the arts, but also to possibly guide them. A good example back in the summer camp I went to and the one I taught last year, we've done portfolio reviews, and I think sitting down and spending time with the students like that is very important. So that's probably the most important part to me for these summer camps. So is that connection that you get between a teaching student and someone who might be going to there in the future.
Mm. And it sounds like there's an element of professionalization there too in undergoing maybe their first portfolio review of their lives.
I think so. I think that's a very important aspect for them, and I think some of them come specifically to get advice as an artist and to think about what they want their portfolio to be when they apply to college and stuff. So yeah.
Anything to add there, Alex?
I know when I first started here at Tech, I really appreciated being able to get review on my portfolio, and that I was very grateful for professors who were telling me about campus life and things to look out for, and yeah.
Not people to look out for, right? Just weather and that sort of thing to look out for, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, did we mention the dates already of the camp?
So we have not yet. So the camp takes place, and this is for 9th through 12th grade students. This is June 9th through the 13th. We've already passed our early bird registration date, so the deadline is May 23rd for our after early bird registration. I will say in the past that depending on the enrollment and how many students we have coming to the camp, when we've had space, we have taken students pretty close to that, the camp date. There is some paperwork and things that we have to do and making sure those things are set up. But so it's quickly approaching. But again, the past few years has been more and more visibility with people, and we've had pretty full camp of 30 to 45 students, I think, for the camp.
Great. Which the camp itself starts? I'm sorry.
So it starts on the 9th, on June 9th, so they will show up and do kind of a registration orientation, and then we'll get busy, I think, the second half of the day with classes, and we have just kind of this rotating schedule that we work through. The other thing, too, I should mention, too, is when the students show up or the parents show up on Friday to pick up their students, is we usually finish up with an exhibition, and we've rotated. So 2 years ago when I did this, it was over at our 3D Annex building, and it was complete chaos of the best sort as it relates to art. So students are, because they're going to be picked up by their parents, they're bringing in their suitcases and things like that. At the same time, we're hanging artwork and putting video files on monitors and all these kind of things. And the level of excitement, it's a pure joy to watch these students get excited about showing their parents what they've made. And from the creativity to the craft, to the new exposure, the new processes and things like that. So it's a very full week. It's very exciting. And so maybe, Piper, I'll ask you. So you did the camp last year. We held the showcase, I guess, in the art building itself. Do you want to talk a little bit about that process?
It was a little bit of a hectic process. I've worked in a gallery for the past 3 years, so I'm quite used to hanging things up. But getting a bunch of students' artworks up in about a couple hours is pretty crazy, but 100% worth it afterwards. It's really fun to see the kids point out their artwork to their parents and talk about it. And I remember when they made the announcement, like the scholarship that they hand out after the little exhibition, they were all super excited as well. definitely a highlight of the camp for sure, because you're building up towards the end of the week with different classes and working on projects. And for the instructors, it's a little hectic trying to get everything organized, but totally worth it.
And I imagine that was done then last year in what we call the Landmark Art Gallery space, right?
Yes.
Correct.
But this year, the showcase is going to be held in the
I don't actually know for sure. That initially there was discussion of us rotating. Some of it has to do with logistics of parents and where they would park and picking up students. But I think the idea was that we would rotate it each year. Keeps it kind of fresh, and we have amazing facilities. Unfortunately, these buildings are on different places on campus, so we do want to make sure that students see what we have to offer in these various locations. So I'm not totally sure exactly where we're going to do that this year, but either instance will be great.
Details to come, I'm sure, on the website. And for listeners who have been, once or many times to that Landmark Arts Gallery in what we call the School of Art building, if you haven't ever been to the 3D Annex, which is along the street where the rec center is and some of the physical plants and the greenhouses, it's a really impressive space. I love going there just to kind of absorb the vibe. It's about art, as architecturally opposite as the actual School of Art as I can imagine.
Yeah, it's an amazing facility. The School of Art just did our 10-year accreditation visit, so we had faculty members from other institutions here who review programs all across the country, literally. And each of the two reviewers were amazed at the facilities that we have in the 3D Annex, and one of them even commented as the best facilities that they had ever seen at a college campus. So it's a great place for students to get some exposure to sculpture and ceramics and jewelry and metal design programs over there.
Yeah, great. So if I go back to something that somebody said at the beginning, use this term for an area of the School of Art, digital and narrative arts. Maybe one or more than that of you could explain exactly what that encompasses. What are the traditional things we think of as arts disciplines fall into that, and maybe why it's called that now?
So I came to Texas Tech as the director in 2020, and I used to do all the tours. So I just figured if parents, drove 5 hours from Dallas or 9 hours from Houston or something, they should meet with the director and get a tour of the facilities. And so I would talk to these potential students, and they told me a lot of different things that they were interested in. But whether they wanted to draw characters or do 3D animations or what have you, they all were interested in story. And so at the time we had a concentration on what we called transmedia, which was a fine title, but I didn't think it accurately described what our students wanted to do. I think it's a broader umbrella for our program. We now basically have taken what would be the 2D and 3D animation courses and combine those with our photography courses, because whether real or physical, it's the lens that our students are mediating the world through. Like they're, whether it's comics or these animations or video games, we frame the world through these devices one way or the other. So that's been kind of our North Star in thinking about what that program would be. So I just started using that language at time to describe it, and I realized it also ended up being a nice acronym and being DNA. And so it's nice shorthand, and I talk to the students a lot in classes and get their feedback about these programs and the things that we're doing. So we've made some tweaks to what we do, even based on their feedback. Our undergraduate students are a great barometer.
Great. And Alex and Piper, did you have any angst about the kind of floor changing under you? You came into one program and now it's got a different title, or is it all good?
At one point, I was worried that I just wouldn't graduate because it'd make me retake all the credits, but otherwise it's been pretty good. It's been a pretty smooth process, and they're kind of like letting the people, for me example, who came into transmedia kind of finish that program and then boot us out and then kind of like finish applying the new coat of paint to the program.
Gotcha.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah, I would say a lot of the people that we came into classes with, everyone still calls it transmedia for the most part, but it is in fact DNA.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I want to thank very much our three guests. I can't believe the time has flown past here already. Piper and Alex and Dane Webster from the School of Art at Texas Tech. And even if you don't have a child or a student yourself coming to the art camp starting on June 9th, I am sure that that final show on Friday the 13th, there's a theme for you, right, would be open to the public, and anyone would be welcome to come and check that out.
And if you do have students looking for a summer camp, there's still time to register. If you want additional information, just go to the School of Art website at Texas Tech University. And right on that homepage, there's a link to the summer camps.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Art Beat, a weekly program putting you in touch with artists and arts events from the J.T. and Margaret Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts at Texas Tech University.